Germany are out of the World Cup again. A painful penalty shootout defeat to Paraguay has sent the DFB team crashing home early, and while fans were still trying to process the humiliation, one political post lit the fuse for an entirely different storm. Because instead of anger, criticism, or even silence, Chancellor Friedrich Merz chose praise. And the reaction online was brutal. Fans mocked him, politicians hit back. Even a close ally of Vladimir Putin joined in. So how did one message meant to comfort a defeated national team turn into a wave of ridicule across social media? Let's break it down. Germany's World Cup ended in bitter fashion after a disappointing performance in the round of 32 against Paraguay. The national team failed in the penalty shootout and suffered another early exit, adding to the frustration of supporters who have watched Germany miss the World Cup last 16 for the third tournament in a row. For many fans, this was not a heroic defeat. It was not a performance full of pride. It was another painful chapter in a run of major tournament disappointment. But then Friedrich Merz posted his message. On social media, the German chancellor wrote, "Even though the elimination hurts, what a game, DFB team." And he did not stop there. He continued by praising the players' effort and team spirit, saying they had inspired the country during the World Cup and that Germany was proud of them. That was the moment the backlash exploded, because for many supporters, the tone of the post felt completely detached from the mood in the country. Germany had just gone out after what the article describes as a dull, embarrassing display, and even the team's own coach had reportedly criticized the performance afterwards. So when Merz spoke of pride, excitement, and inspiration, fans could hardly believe what they were reading. One user on X mocked him by asking whether he had accidentally watched another country. Presenter Oliver Pocher also reacted sharply on Instagram, writing that he hoped the account had been hacked. He said the post suited the situation in the country, but added that there was nothing to sugarcoat about the defeat and that nobody had been inspired. The criticism quickly moved beyond football fans. FDP politician Alexander Stefan accused Merz of once again missing the mood of the country, calling the post reliable and precise in exactly the wrong way. His party colleague Marie-Agnes Strack-Zimmermann delivered an even harsher comparison, saying the national team played the way the current federal government governs. And then came the comment that gave the story an even sharper edge. Kirill Dmitriev, described in the article as a confidant of Kremlin chief Vladimir Putin, also weighed in. On X, he wrote that Merz was always good at reinforcing failure. A football post had become political ammunition. The anger under Merz's post kept building. According to the report, within the first 3 hours, the replies under the post outnumbered the likes. That alone showed how badly the message had landed. One user advised the chancellor simply to stop posting about football. Another mocked both Merz and Germany coach Julian Nagelsmann, writing that with Nagelsmann there was someone doing his job even more incompetently than Merz. That comment received more than 1,000 likes. For supporters, the issue was not only the defeat itself. It was the feeling that the official reaction did not match reality. One user suggested the message may have been a pre-written corporate-style post sent out by a social media assistant, regardless of how Germany were eliminated or who they lost to. The same user joked that Merz might have gone to bed at 10 and still not even known the result. Even Jonathan Tah's missed penalty was dragged into the criticism. One reaction compared Merz's analysis to Tah's spot kick, saying the chancellor was just as accurate in his judgment as Tah had been in the shootout. The replies kept coming. "Kanzler, that was a terrible match," one comment said, arguing that the team had been badly led and deserved to go out. Another rejected the chancellor's "we are proud of you" message with a blunt "no." Others asked how he managed to say the most inappropriate thing possible in every situation, whether he had been watching a documentary about Germany's old summer fairy tale instead of the match, and what parallel universe the post had come from. The most cutting reaction summed up the mood clearly. Praising what is bad is a distortion of reality. And that is why this story spread so quickly. Germany's defeat was already painful, but Merz's response gave fans something else to attack. Not just the players, not just the coach, but the political instinct to turn a sporting failure into a message of pride and unity. To some, it sounded statesmanlike. To many others, it sounded completely out of touch. So Germany are out. The DFB is under pressure, and the frustration has now spilled far beyond the pitch. What began as a World Cup exit became a national argument about performance, leadership, and whether public figures should praise a team when supporters feel there is nothing to praise. Friedrich Merz may have intended to lift spirits after a painful defeat. Instead, his post became the target of sarcasm, anger, and political mockery from fans. from rival politicians, and even from a Putin ally watching from outside Germany. For the DFB, the sporting damage is already serious. Another World Cup, another early exit, and another wave of questions about where German football goes next. But for Merz, the lesson may be just as clear. When the country is furious after a humiliating defeat, a message saying, "We are proud of you," can sound less like encouragement and more like proof that the person speaking has not understood the moment at all.